Hi, everybody, and good morning. My name is CohhCarnage, and I'm here with a very brief, super quick recap and thoughts on the Game Awards 2021 with Jeff Keighley. The Game Awards is an award show run by Mr. Keighley that has become a relative mainstay over the last few years. He also runs the summer game shows, which have come to kind of replace E3. And this award show is a way to not only get some awards out and recognition to the industry, but also get a whole lot of ad bucks. Let's be real. And probably support the whole venture and everything moving forward. So what we're going to do today is a super quick, super brief recap of what was there. We're going to talk about any major announcements. I do have a lot of the awards, but to be honest, for me personally, these shows are not so much about the awards, but more about the reveals. I know a lot of people watch them for the exact opposite reasons. But for me, I have come to definitely pay more attention to kind of the reveals, the gameplay trailers, that kind of thing. There were some leaks and there were some rumors. And due to these, I made a list, a kind of a wish list of what I wanted to see at the award show. And I tweeted it out. And unfortunately, I was pretty much O for everything. So that the big stuff that I wanted to see at the award show was not there. There was some interesting, cool stuff there. But yeah, unfortunately, we did not see any Avowed. We did not see any of an Exile's new thing. We did not see anything like on BioShock. We pretty, it seems like a lot of the kind of big title projects that we were kind of hoping for, especially after a bombshell of a line was dropped by Mr. Keighley saying that there would be 4 to 5 reveals and trailers on the hype level of Elden Ring. We were kind of expecting some really big stuff from a loaded statement like that, but what we'll do right now is go over everything. You can kind of make your own decisions, and then we'll talk about it more at the end. So, on that note, where did we start with? We opened up with a pre-show with a little game called Tunic. This game was adorable. It was a gameplay trailer that kind of went over some of the actual gameplay in the game. I know, crazy, right? It does look to be a very cutesy action game. Nothing really surprising with this one. I believe we also got a release date with it. So for those looking forward to Tunic, check that out and peep that release date. The next one to come up was King of Fighters 15 with an absolutely amazing narrator. Yeah, very, very over the top, very flavored. It did have a lot of gameplay in it, so if you are a King of Fighters fan, definitely check that out. Was a lot of fun. Next, we had our first announcement of the evening. That was for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Some of these don't have box art available yet, so we don't have the box art. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, no real gameplay. It just was a very quick kind of teaser trailer. Showed somebody getting strung up and just about to get cut up. You know, the best part. And it did, I believe, hint at being a multiplayer horror kind of survival game. So we're probably expecting kind of like a Dead by Daylight or, you know, the most recent Prop Hunt kind of thing. Looks like it could be fun for those that enjoy that game, but we didn't get any gameplay, so we're not entirely sure about what makes it special or where it is. Now, next announcement for me was one of the better ones, and this was Homeworld 3. I really liked Homeworld 1 and 2. I actually have not played the planet-based RTS. I believe it's called Desert of Karak. However, we may do at some point a quick blow through of the the Homeworld franchise, because Homeworld 3 looks awesome. We didn't get much like actual gameplay, but there was a whole lot of in-game stuff. So it didn't show like the game being played with like the UI and everything, but it did show a lot of in-game graphics, in-game ships, things of that nature. And it looked like it was coming along great. There was also some really cool kind of cutscene stuff with that kind of fun animation style that they do between their missions. And yeah, Homeworld 3 is coming. It is looking good, and definitely was one of the small highlights of the Game Awards for me was seeing this kind of on the big screen. So definitely good stuff. Next, we have a Telltale game coming out of The Expanse. Yeah, Telltale. I'm going to be blunt. I thought Telltale disbanded. I think they went into bankruptcy a while back. Something really bad happened. Apparently their sales weren't doing great. And I kind of thought they were gone. I didn't realize that they were just kind of dormant. But apparently they have connected with Amazon, and now we have a Telltale game coming out of The Expanse. Do I have any idea if it's going to be good or not? No, I don't. But to be honest, Telltale games for me have always been at least okay. So if they pull this off, This could be pretty cool. Again, I don't know how much of like the original Telltale is there now. I thought they were gone. So this was very much not only a surprise to see the Expanse there, but also kind of a surprise to see that Telltale was there. So that being said, if you're an Expanse fan or a Telltale fan, definitely check that out. Could be very cool. After that, we had Babylon's Fall. This is, I believe, Squeenix's Godfall. I kind of wonder if that's the best way to say it. It looks like it's a small group co-op versus the world in like a crazy sci-fi fantasy setting. I'm not really sure what we were looking at. It kind of looked like Godfall, but not quite as pretty. However, there was nothing really talked about with like the progression, with the gameplay loop. Like, do they have end game content? Is it, really not a lot of information. But at the same time, it did. I mean, it looked kind of cool. We'll probably kind of follow it and see how it is. I would love to know more about it. But yeah, Babylon's Fall was there. It was there. Next, we had a look at the Chivalry 2 DLC. Merry Shivmas. I had to give him points for that. Merry Shivmas. Apparently, you can throw snowballs at each other's now. Anvils are wrapped in gift wrapped, and then you can throw those at people. They did have some minor announcements with the Shiv stuff. Also, Shiv apparently is free to play this weekend. So if you do want to try Chivalry 2, get your Cohh stab on, maybe some Cohh Chaos, then you can check out Chivalry this weekend for free and see if you enjoy it. We really like Shiv here on this channel. I haven't played it for a while. I'm due to go back. But yeah, Chivalry 2, still very much a thing, still very much being developed. One second. And something to check out for Shiv fans, for sure. Next, we had the Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak trailer. I did not play Monster Hunter Rise myself. It's coming to PC. I'm not really sure if I'm going to be honest. Like, Monster Hunter Rise was originally made as a Switch game, and even though it's coming to PC, it still pretty much looks like a Switch game. So I'm not sure if it's quite going to be there to push me over. However, it is Monster Hunter. So if you're a Monster Hunter fan, especially if you liked Rise, you got a cool looking DLC coming out, something about some new city called Elgato, all sorts of fun stuff. So yeah, a lot of stuff there for Monster Hunter fans. Hope you guys enjoy it. This was a game. This is a game called Thirsty Suitors. This was kind of like one of those little out of nowhere announcement things. Thirsty Suitors looks to be a tale of a woman battling her exes while doing cooking mini games. There was some skating. Evil West. Evil West looked pretty. I don't really know what the plan with this one is. Evil West looks to be kind of like a shooter game. Didn't know too much about it outside of it looks like there were some combos, there were some crazy enemies. Looked kind of fun. We're definitely going to be keeping our eye on Evil West to see how it goes. But I'm not really sure if it's going to have the depth to make it something that is really cool, or if it's going to be kind of, superficial and just there to be there kind of thing. It could be cool. It looked definitely like it had some of its own flavor. So definitely check out the trailer if you're kind of in the fan of the action-y kind of Darksiders 3 looking stuff, except a little bit more like a zombie flair on it, and guns. There were guns too. An Evil Dead West. Yeah, there we go. It was pretty fun. Now the next one, Hollow Knight fans, take notice. This is a game called Have a Nice Death. Have a Nice Death is a side-scroller game where you play Death, and apparently the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse are just killing too many people, and Death gets pissed, and he goes and lays the smackdown. So, if you like Hollow Knight, this game looked actually very similar in a lot of ways. The animations were beautiful. It was a side-scrolling game where you play a little skull friendo, and I would definitely keep your eye on this game. I'm not sure if it's like a progression like Hollow Knight or if it's a roguelite. We didn't get too much information on it from the trailer, but I can say this. It looked good, and we will most likely be checking it out. It was really fun. By the way, quick note and a quick reminder here. If any of the stuff we talk about on this show, or really on the channel ever, especially pertaining to indie projects you may have not heard of, one of the best things you can do for the developers is you can wish list it. Because one of the things Steam does is whenever it picks what games goes on its front page carousel and gets all of its big gun promotion, it looks at how many games are wish listed and how many wish lists those games have. So if you are ever interested in an indie game, a lot of people I think wishlisting is just for you so you can follow along with it. Wishlisting tells Steam you're interested, and that makes Steam put it in a better position so more people see it. It's all about that algorithm. So, if especially on indie games, if you ever like an indie game, wishlist it on Steam. Awesome. Okay. Planet of Lana. I think we saw a little bit about this maybe at one of the shows over the summer, but I can say that we saw a little bit more this time, and this game looks cool. It looks to be a side-scroller kind of story-based game, very artistic. It takes place in kind of a sci-fi world where it looks like these giant robots are hunting down humans, while at the same time it's apparently about a character and his cute little animal friend and maybe them surviving it. I'm not really sure because I think they're being kind of tight-lipped about the actual game itself. But I can say everything we've seen from it looks pretty, looks interesting, and I definitely can see this be a game that we will check out. Make sure to check out the trailer if you like that kind of thing, like Limbo-esque kind of games. I don't think you'll be disappointed, and yeah, definitely something to check out. Persona 4 Ultimax Suplex Hold Extremo. It's a fighting game based on Persona 4. The big news here is that it's coming out for like consoles and Steam and PC and stuff. So if you want a Persona 4 fighting game, go spend your money on that. There you go. Hellblade 2. This is when things really started picking up. This is when everything you just saw was basically part of the pre-show. So this is when the main show picked up. Now, I do need to say, at this point in the show, I was pretty jazzed. Because one of the things that was really cool is, remember, Jeff Keighley, the guy that runs the show, he dropped this bombshell quote where he said, we're going to have like 4 to 5 things at this show that are the size of Elden Ring in terms of hype. So at this point in the 30-minute pre-show, we had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 like trailers in 30 minutes. Homeworld 3 was one of them. Like at this point I was like, okay, this is going pretty well. I'm excited about this. So when they started with Hellblade 2, I was like, awesome. They showed a Hellblade 2 gameplay trailer that looked like a cinematic trailer, but it was gameplay. It definitely looked really cool. And if you like Hellblade or Hellblade 2, definitely check it out. It was a pretty fun little trailer, really creepy in terms of Hellblade. And of course, big recommendation, watch it with headphones. Watch it with headphones. Yep. Anyway, super cool. And we've been looking forward to Hellblade 2, and absolutely nothing about what we saw last night has tempered that enthusiasm. It's looking pretty great. Next was our first kind of like, it certainly wasn't a bombshell, but the next thing was definitely pretty cool. Now, here's the thing. It could have been insanely cool, but for me personally, it came out to be pretty cool. And that is Star Wars Eclipse. So what they did is they basically showed they basically showed a cinematic trailer of a new Star Wars game. They showed Yoda. They showed a lot of different places in the world and stuff. We didn't really know what we were looking at first. So at first, I started getting really excited because I was like, oh my God, this is the open world Star Wars RPG. Oh, this is going to be cool. Then we got to the end, and it's Quantic Dream. And Quantic Dream is a developer who does a certain type of thing. And basically, from what we understand, it's gonna be like a story thing. There's actually a website up. I believe it's StarWarsEclipse.com. Someone help me out here. And basically, it's not quite what I think a lot of us were hoping for. Kind of like if you remember back in the day, there was that big vampire announcement, and then it was like Vampire, the story game, and everyone was like, "Nani?" So it's gonna be cool. I'm sure some Star Wars fans will probably like it. But unfortunately, it was not quite the thing that I was hoping for at the beginning. Yeah, StarWarsEclipse.com. Thank you. So if you want more information, there's going to be playable characters, different perspectives, a very story-based game. So yeah, something to check out if you're into that kind of stuff. There you go. We had another big announcement, and I think, what is it, DC? DC fans will probably like this one. Wonder Woman apparently is getting a game. So we didn't really get to see anything really from it. We saw some pretty graphics and like a pretty introductory sequence, but it was basically just an announcement. There is a Wonder Woman game coming. So pretty cool. If you like Wonder Woman, I personally have never seen any medium with Wonder Woman in it, be it movie, comic, or anything. I know she has a lasso that makes guys give up their internet history or something. I'm not sure. It's weird, but hey, more power to people that enjoy it, and I hope that it goes really well. Now, the next announcement for me, arguably, was the biggest announcement of the night for me. And this is going to be both telling but kind of understandable, I think, for a lot of people. I saw this, and this was the only trailer that I saw that one of two. This was one of two trailers that I saw, and I was just like, oh, I am so here for this. I am so here for this. And then they talked about it a little bit more, and I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. And that game was Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2, man. Oh, dude. It looks like Jake Gyllenhaal is gonna be maybe Alan Wake 2. And more importantly, and this is the part that's cool, I love Remedy. Remedy is good people doing good things. And they are going to be taking Alan Wake from their self-proclaimed action genre and turning it into a survival horror game. So I cannot wait to see a company who I can pretty much count on dive into a new genre with their own spin on it. I am excited. I am here for it. The little tiny cinematic trailer looked great. We need more survival horror games. So like, I am so here for this. And honestly, that was one of the, if not the most actual hype things for me this evening. Correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm not entirely sure if it was announced before this. Thanks, Barry. I know that we kind of knew it was coming because of the last DLC for Control. Like let's be real. The last DLC for Control was basically like a giant Alan Wake prequel. And it was awesome. It was a fantastic tie-in. Somebody said, was the Alan Wake 2 thing a world like reveal? I didn't know. Had Alan Wake 2 been confirmed? Alan Wake 2 has been announced as being a thing before. So it was confirmed. Okay. So it had been confirmed before. This was just kind of the first like big reveal. Okay. So it had been confirmed, not revealed. Oh, okay. Anyway, cool. But this is like the first time we've actually like seen maybe some of the vision and stuff. So yeah, this was probably the most hyped thing for me. But again, Alan Wake 2 is pretty hype. Let's be real. It's pretty hype. So that was kind of fun. The next thing we had was Jim Carrey's thing. And Jim Carrey is amazing. You know what? I'm gonna do something real quick, just to see this. I don't know. I don't think this will get claimed. Let me see if I can find this. Okay, yeah, we're doing this. Sorry, Red. One sec.
Or on Alan Wake 2. Sam, thank you so much for that announcement.
Thank
you. Okay,
very exciting. All right. Well, now
there's the Alan Wake 2 stuff, which was awesome.
Hello, everyone, and hello, Ben. I'm sorry I couldn't be there with you, but I look forward to meeting all of your avatars in the metaverse, where we can really get to know each other. Hey, before you see this exciting new Sonic trailer, I'd like to pass on a word of advice that my Scottish grandfather gave to me when I was just a boy. He said, son, don't grade it in the grinder. Don't do it, son. Don't grade it in the grinder, boy. Grade it, by all means, grade it till the cows come home. But don't grade it in the grinder. And then to drive the point home, he put his hands around my neck and he squeezed real hard and he said, don't do it, son. Don't grade it in the grinder. Are you listening to me, boy? Are you listening?
Wow. Yeah. Inspiring words. Thank you, Jim. You know, I think we all needed to hear that.
And that was the whole thing. And here's the best part about it. It had nothing to do with anything that was going on. that was for Sonic. He was there for Sonic the Hedgehog. Those were his words for the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. And that is why I love Jim Carrey. That was one of the best moments of the, it was just fantastic. It was great. I loved it. I laughed my ass off. I love how they just brought Jim Carrey on and they were like, just do you, man. Just be you, do something. You know, a lot of times in life, when somebody thinks someone else is funny, they'll say like, tell a joke or, hey, do something funny. Jim Carrey is somebody that can actually do that. I'm convinced that if you were to walk up to Jim Carrey and be like, hey, do something funny, he would just make you laugh. There's so few people that can do that. Farvacola says, Jim Carrey's bit made some of the other attempts at humor fall flat. I completely agree. There were definitely some attempts at humor during this that were a little bit painful. I don't remember exactly what the award was for, but they had one presenter who basically walked out looking at his phone, and he kept looking at his phone like he was watching Halo and making these little quips. And at first we thought it was an ad, because the ad would have at least made sense, right? But it wasn't an ad. It was just an attempt at humor. And what's weird is you could tell that the guy doing it wasn't like really in on it. He was just kind of going through the motions. So it was a little weird. That was a little weird. So yeah, that was a bit strange. But anyway, moving on. Jim Carrey's amazing. They did talk a little bit about the Sonic movie. I got to admit, weirdly as it sounds, it looked kind of good. Like, I don't know. The Sonic movie looked kind of fun. I have not seen the first Sonic movie, but it may be the kind of thing I could watch with my kids. So when I get a TV, maybe I'll watch it. I don't know. But I have to admit, it actually looked kind of cool. Like, Jim Carrey's in it, which is great. The Knuckles guy is actually on point. I always forget his name. I want to say it's Idris, but it's not Idris, is it? I always forget his name every time I mention him. Idris Elba. Yeah, he like at first when they announced him as Knuckles, I was like, oh, that's weird. And then he said his lines as Knuckles, and I was like, oh, that fits. Like, oh, that's perfect. Yeah, it was pretty cool. And it looks like it could be fun. So there were a few one-liners from Jim Carrey, and he obviously is in the role, which was cool. Like, he clearly wasn't phoning it in. Like he was kind of like, he was very much playing the Robotnik. So yeah, dude, I may check it out at some point. Looked like it could be fun. Next up was a tried and tested. We got to see some more gameplay from Horizon Forbidden West. Not really a lot to talk about here. We've seen a lot before. I don't know if we're going to see a lot before release. There's really not many major PR things of any kind before February. This may be kind of like our last big gameplay stuff. Everything looked great from it. Everything looks awesome. It looks fantastic. It looked so good that the encoder for the show was having serious issues keeping up. Every stream I looked at, it was barely working because it was so pretty. So yeah, it looked great. It looked good. And more Horizon is the right amount of Horizon is always more. The right amount of Horizon is always more. And I can't wait to see this game come out. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right. Next out was not for me, but it was for some people. There was an FMV, by the way. There were actual actors that were doing a Destiny 2 The Witch Queen premiere. If you're a Destiny fan, I'm not sure if it was new, but I would definitely check this out. They clearly are going all in with The Witch Queen. So again, if you're a Destiny 2 fan, I am not a Destiny person myself. I have tried many times to play Destiny 2, and for some reason it never grabs me. I want it to grab me. I do, because it's big and there's lots to do, and it's always coming out with hype things, and I want to like it, but for some reason, man, I can't get into it. So if you are one of those people, I hope you have a great time with it. Enjoy the hell out of it. And yeah, That's Destiny 2. Hey, we're keeping this recap pretty brief. The pace is pretty good. Yeah, I see some people giving me some ish for a brief recap. We're clipping through. We're clipping through. We don't have a. Oh, we have a lot more. Well, we're making progress. We're making progress. Okay. Anyway, next up was Slitterhead. Okay, this one is going to be hard to do justice to with words. This one was a thing. Director of Silent Hill, I believe their studio is called Bokeh, if I'm saying that right. This is a game that looks to be all about supernatural stuff, and people turning into nightmarish creatures. It looked, though, weirdly enough, here's the thing. I thought it was going to be Silent Hilly, which originally I was kind of like really excited for it. But then midway through the trailer, they show like a dude making a sword kind of device out of his blood. And then you see him start like hacking the things apart. So I'm not really sure if it's going to be like a Silent Hill like tension and horror thing, or if it's going to be like an action oriented something else. So unfortunately, I'm not nearly as much of a fan as horror when it's like fast paced and actiony. I feel like it really takes away from like the tension and the brooding mood that horror really, I feel like, shines in. But we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. I will say it looked creepy as hell. It looked super creepy, and especially at the very end, they show this like this crazy ass, like, you know those dinosaurs, you know those things. They showed like a monster looking thing, one of those, like and this woman like basically like it going into her. Check out the trailer if you like horror. It's a thing. It's a thing. Next up was Nightingale. This game looked interesting. This game actually, this was one of the surprises for me. This game was surprising. Nightingale is a co-op building adventure game. And when I saw this game and when I realized what I was watching, I instantly was like, we're going to play community games in this game. I mean, it's basically like, imagine a bunch of parallel dimensions and you travel between them, and there's crazy creatures and like steampunky tech and stuff in them, and you basically just have to survive with a bunch of other people. It looked really cool. It also had this kind of like 1940 to 60s-esque like theme to it. I don't know. It's really weird. It's like a fantasy pre-industrial tech looking game, but it looked cool. It looked super cool. And Victorian steampunk. There you go. Maybe that's the right word for it. It looked cool, looked interesting. If it's as good as it looked, I think we can absolutely plan on having some community servers going in it, kind of like we did Rust back in the day. And I am looking forward to checking it out. So yeah, definitely cool. A big surprise. I had not really heard about this one, and I will be following that. The next one for me, not really a big deal. It was a Golem trailer. Golem looks almost chibi in this, which was a little surprising. They did stuff to his face to make him look significantly more, it's weird calling him this, but kind of cutesy. I don't know. He looks kind of cutesy. He's like kawaii Golem. And it's a little off-putting because in the trailer they show him murdering people. But I don't know. For fans of Lord of the Rings, could be a lot of fun. I'm very much on the fence about this game just because I'm not a huge loader guy anyway. But we'll kind of see. We'll kind of see. Yeah, we'll see where that goes. Somerville. Hold on. Obviously didn't leave a huge impact. Oh yeah, okay. The reason it didn't is because it was very amorphous. Somerville is a Limbo. Oh, the studio's co-founder Dino Patti previously co-founded Play Dead and worked on Limbo. Yeah, it's kind of a Limbo-y side scroller, like, you know, pretty animation kind of game. I feel like it's a Limbo-like. I feel like games like this need some kind of genre designation that doesn't exist. It's a Limbo-like. You know, and what's even crazier is like when I say that, I think a lot of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like it's an indie limbo like. There you go. Okay. So, well, it's kind of it's not really a side scroller. That's the thing. I was going to say side scroller, but it's not really a side scroller. It looks more like a walking simulator. Like there's definitely, it looked like some 3D movement in the world, so it's not really a side scroller. I don't know. So it looks a little interesting, and it's a artistic adventure game. There you go. And it's a limbo like. Okay. Great announcement for the next one. We're getting Cuphead DLC. They even brought out like a really cool performer for it, or a performance group. It was 3 women who were absolutely awesome at singing. DLC Delicious Last Course. They're adding a bunch of new Cuphead stuff. Looks great. Highly recommend checking out the performance and the trailers. It was a lot of fun, and the DLC just looks great. It also looks like they're making it so it's 3-player co-op, which I have to admit, 2-player co-op is kind of hectic in that game. 3-player co-op is going to be a thing. But you know, Cuphead's awesome. It's still awesome. The DLC will probably be awesome. We are totally there for it. And yeah, should be good. Now, this was a surprising announcement here. Sonic Frontiers. So at first they just kind of teased that it was a Sonic game, but then they started showing open world environments. So I think we might be getting Sonic of the Wild. There's a big chance here that we're getting Breath of the Sonic, which could be interesting. Like I was saying last night, the game basically has its own built-in travel mechanic. So I mean, if they make the world interesting and enough stuff to do in it, it could be cool. Like we didn't really see any gameplay or anything from it, so we'll have to see. Also pretty cool at the very end, it showed Sonic looked like getting ready to fight some kind of big thing. Colossus style enemy, so it'd be cool. We'll see. Again, it looked more of like an announcement than anything, so we'll have to keep our eye on it and see how it goes. We do have a few awards next. I just went ahead, and some of these awards I missed because at first I wasn't going to really talk about them on this show, but then I decided later to we'll just mention them. I believe the one that we missed so far was the best action game, and that went to Returnal, which I was very happy about. Returnal's a great game. It was good to see it win that award. I thought the gameplay in it was pretty fantastic. I hope we see some DLC or maybe even a Returnal 2. But Returnal won Best Action. Good vibes too. House Mark. The entire time I've thought it's been House Marquee. But it's House Mark. Azir says, Cohh, you hated Returnal. No, I loved Returnal. I hated the story ending. I wanted so much more closure it didn't give me. No, I actually loved the game. I thought the game was great. But the ending actually drove me crazy. Yeah, the end, I was passionately not happy with the ending. But the gameplay was great. Like I loved the gameplay and everything. If anything, I wish they had made it so you could level the guns and stuff faster, so there was more reason to actually like play through it multiple times, like we've talked about. But yeah, Returnal won Best Action, which honestly I think was the best part about the game. That was good. That was good. Next, Best Art Direction, Deathloop. This was a weird one. I never would have guessed that it won it. So like over Psychonauts 2, there was some super artsy game there too that it went over. Like it was a little weird. It was a little weird. I'm one of the people that like Deathloop. I think it's a great game. I think it's a fine game. But art direction is not one of the things I ever would have put as its like strongest suit. So to have that win over like Ratchet and Clank 2, and stuff like that, like I don't know. I like how Deathloop looked. I like how Deathloop looked. Like the graphics were good. The graphics were great. But like art direction, I feel is a lot more than just pretty graphics. So this is one of those categories that I really wish they would have. And the Game Awards unfortunately doesn't do this, and I hope they think about doing this more in the future. I would love to see when an award like this is given out, they give like a reason why it won. Like I wish they would actually like maybe bring on one of the judges that picked it and have them like be like, the reason we picked Deathloop is, you know, like I think that would be really, really cool. Because there were definitely a couple of awards where I was like, so yeah. Anyway, Deathloop won. Art direction. Award player's voice, Halo Infinite. Awesome. I get it. I agree with it. There's a player's voice one. So yeah, cool. Awesome. Best RPG, Tales of Arise. I mean, it's a giant JRPG kind of game. I can completely see why that would win that award. Obviously, the only reason it won is because Pathfinder wasn't an option. But hey, there's always the next Pathfinder in a few years, I guess. Best score, Nier. Now, my personal pick for this one was Cyberpunk. And I know that's going to make some people salty. But I really didn't play Nier Replicant too much. I know that a lot of the score of Nier Replicant is rather iconic. So I can see why the Nier Replicant won. I think, just because based on what I've heard, I only played Nier Replicant for one of the many needed playthroughs. And you know, so I've maybe not heard the best stuff. But I will say that if Cyberpunk deserves anything, the OST of Cyberpunk was one of the few, if not only thing, that was actually complete in that game. So I would have loved to have seen it win here. I kind of wish that it had done that. But anyway, Nier apparently is awesome too, so more power to it. Best creator is Dream. Genshin Impact, best mobile game. Okay. That sure. Anyway, back to the kind of like game trailers and stuff. Warhammer Vermintide Warrior Priest. I don't really know what this was. This is a Warhammer Vermintide kind of like it was an announcement, I think, for a DLC or something, but I'm pretty sure that the Warrior Priest is already a class in it. So I'm not. It is a new class. Okay, it is a new class DLC. That's what it was. Cool. Okay, great. So that's what it was. It's a new class DLC. So if you like Warhammer Vermintide 2, which has been out for a while and apparently is still going, I mean, good job to a Warhammer game that actually is like successful and made it. Good vibes to those devs, dude. I'm glad that at least a few of them are working out. Because my God, I mean, you can throw a rock any direction and you will hit a Warhammer game. Unfortunately, like 90% of them are relative failures. But yeah, it's awesome to see between Warhammer Vermintide and like Total War Warhammer. There's unfortunately not a lot of other. Although, well, we're talking about that. Coming up here is going to be something pretty cool related to those. But yeah, Warhammer Vermintide still going strong, still getting DLC. More power to them. And honestly, a brief shout out, by the way. Looking forward big time to the Dark Tide. Is that what they're calling it? There's a 40K Warhammer Vermintide style game coming out, and I am definitely going to be checking that one out. I hope it's going to take like everything they've learned from Vermintide and just make it better. So very excited to see that one. I do very much hope that it's good. Next award was for Best Narrative, Guardians of the Galaxy. I can see it. The thing is I felt that when you say best narrative, to me that's like the main story arc. And the main story arc of Guardians of the Galaxy was okay. It was good. I will say that I feel that the thing that Guardians of the Galaxy really shined in though was the dialogue. The dialogue, the character, organic progression through the dialogue and stuff like that. Like that's what I really liked. If they were counting that into this award, then I would say this is a great choice for this award. So if this is like the best narrative, if that's like best writing, then I totally get it. I totally get it. I didn't know if by narrative though it was talking about like the story itself, you know. But yeah, as somebody in chat just said, narrative is writing. Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe that's where it is. So, yeah, yeah. But I really enjoyed Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy. That game surprised the hell out of me. As somebody who isn't even a big Marvel fan, I thought the game was fantastic. So, yeah, it was nice to see it win. It was nice to see it win for sure. Great game, highly recommend it, and it's a good one. Chia. This is a game that I don't know if I'm gonna play. Because it looks kind of like little cutesy. Didn't really look like it had a super amount of like you know, story or progression. But what it did look like, the amount of stuff that was in this game was really impressive. They were like doing exploring, they were doing looting, there was like a music component, there were mini games all over the place. She was warping in and out of stuff, there was combat, like there looked to be a wild amount of things to do in this game. So if you like that kind of stuff, I would definitely, I want to say it's called Chia. Maybe it's just called Chia and the T is silent. I'm not entirely sure. But if you like that kind of thing, I would definitely check this game out. Because yeah, it looks like, if that's your thing, looks like it could be fun. Next up was Injustice League. This looks to be a third person. I don't think it was third person action adventure game. It looked like it was okay. Again, I'm not a huge fan of these IPs, so it looked just kind of like, I'm sure maybe if you're really into this stuff, it looked a little bit more pizzazzy. But for me, I looked at it and I was like, looks like a pretty relative, you know, looks like a little action adventure game. And I will say there is a street shark in it. I am a big fan of street sharks. Awesome. So if that was actually a street shark, then that's definitely pretty cool. But I think his name is like Hammerhead or something. I don't know. Rock. Yeah. Anyway, could be cool if you're a Suicide Squad guy. Check out the trailer. And King Shark is his name. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's where we are. That's what it was. And it's called. I'm sorry. What is it called? What's the actual game called? I think I have Injustice League here, but I don't think that's what it's called. It's called Suicide Squad. Is that what it is? Okay. Yeah, that was on me. That's not on Barry. That's on me. Biased review. Well, considering I say at the very beginning, this is not really an IP for me. Like, you know, I can't. Yes, it is biased, as I'm not super into this. It is called Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Okay, there you go. So if you want to look up the trailer, that is what it is. Definitely check it out if that's your thing. Forspoken. This looks to be, for some reason, that name bothers me. I just, is that a real word? Forspoken. It's weird. That word, it makes like no sense. It is a word. Okay. Forspoken definition. To bewitch. Oh, okay. The meaning of forspeak is to cast a bad spell over, bewitch, especially by immoderate praise. Okay. I don't know. I never really liked the word. But the game looks super cool. The game features basically, it looks like this woman who gets transported into some kind of fantasy world that's undergoing some calamity style thing, and she gains a bunch of special powers. I will say this. It is baffling to me how much this game looks like Warframe. From the way the character moves, to the abilities, to the way the camera is, I am 90% certain that the people that design the gameplay of this game are giant Warframe fans. Because it like the gameplay looks like Warframe single player. Every time I see it, it looks more like Warframe. Apparently also it's really expensive. I don't know if that's a thing. Like last night, multiple people in chat were saying that this game is very expensive in their region. I don't know if that was just like an erroneous blast that went out or something. It's $70 US. It's $70. I wonder. It's 80 euros? No. Euros are more expensive than Freedom Bucks, aren't they? Damn, dude. That is quite a jump. That is quite a jump. 114 Aussie bucks? That's wild, dude. I wonder what the thing is here. I wonder why that game is so much more expensive. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know the price of games is going up in general, but that does seem like a jump. Huh. Anyway, it did look cool. It does look interesting. I'm not sure if we'll be checking it out. I mean, I love the Warframe kind of style gameplay and everything, but I do want to know a little bit more about it. There were the story looks weird. It just looks weird. There was a character that like was obviously there to tweak weird knobs. You know, he like commits her to death and then starts laughing hysterically or something. There's definitely a lot of crazy going in there. But yeah, looks like it could be interesting, and looking forward to hearing more about it. The next announcement, remember earlier during Alan Wake 2, I said that there were 2 games that actually kind of made me relatively excited. Well, the next announcement was the second one. And I got to admit, first it was a cutscene and then like a little reveal thing at the end, and I was just like, oh yeah, okay. And that is Warhammer Space Marine 2. Great Warhammer cutscene. Cool reveal at the end. Apparently it's the guy from the first one. Dude is an absolute Chad. Like I loved the cinematic they showed. I have not played Warhammer Space Marine, so I now have a big reason. I think we're gonna have to do like a little franchise playthrough. Play through Warhammer Space Marine and then do a big run of Warhammer Space Marine 2 when it comes out. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. And in the off chance this ever makes it to somebody whose ears would receive this properly, I want to know where I can buy the chain sword that the presenter guy was holding when he was up there on stage. I will give you all of the freedom dollars. Because oh my god, the dude literally had like a 4-foot actual chain sword, and I need that for my new weapon wall and my renovation immediately. Thank you. Okay. Again, all the freedom bucks for the Emperor. Yes. Yeah, it looked good. Of course, unfortunately, we didn't see. I think if we saw gameplay, did we see gameplay? If we did, it was very minor. We haven't seen like any of the big stuff from it yet. So I'm sure we will be hearing much more about this in the future. Yeah, I was gonna say just very briefly. I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot more about this in the future, and looking forward to more information. Next, we had Saints Row. Then it was the award Best Action, Metroid Dread. Good for them. Good. Wait a second. Wait, did I get this backwards? What did Returnal get again? I think I said Returnal got Best Action. What did Returnal get? Returnal got Best Action Adventure. Oh, okay. So Returnal was Best Action, and Metroid was Best Action Adventure. Okay. Thank you for making that crystal clear. That was, yes. Oh, that's right, because it ticks both boxes, as the presenter said. Oh, that's right. That's right. We had the John Madden of presenting for the Metroid Dread announcement. It was pretty great. I really appreciated him. He was good. Yes, I recommend going and watching the reception there. It was good. But anyway, yeah, Metroid Dread. I haven't played it. I do want to play it at some point. Really, I've heard nothing but good things. So I'm looking forward to trying it out, and I'm kind of glad it won something. Yeah. So yeah, and by the way, full disclosure, a lot of the people going up and claiming these awards are not people that are normally in the public eye. I'm having fun with a lot of these guys, but just understand, it's it's all in good fun. Like it's totally understandable that these people are nervous, and they aren't normally in front of people. They're developers and stuff. So more power to them, and a big congrats to the Metroid Dread team. That was cool. Next, we had a Dune award. Announcement. A Dune announcement. And at first, I thought this was going to be like the old school RTS, but it's a 4X. It's a Dune 4X game. We didn't get to see any gameplay. We got to see nothing about it. But it is a Dune 4X game. So, yeah, I'm kind of interested to see what they're going to do with this. that could be kind of cool. Yeah, it's a Dune 4X. We'll need to get more information from it because we really got nothing yet. And that's where we are with that. I think it's called Spice Wars. What is a 4X game? A 4X game is like if you were to, a 4X is kind of like an RTS game, except it's considered, they call it grand strategy. So a 4X game is generally like, you know, what is it? Explore, expand, exploit, and something else. But they're it's like Stellaris. If you played Stellaris, they're generally like you manage like the entire realm. Exterminate. There we go. Thank you. The fighting, exterminate. So it's basically like you generally, a 4X game is generally grand strategy, and you manage like a whole like civilization or a whole thing, or you know, it's generally like a step back from RTS. RTS, you're controlling like the fights and the little wars. 4X is like you're controlling the entire thing. Crusader Kings 3 is also 4X. That's right. So anyway, that's what 4X is. And yeah, it might be a Dune Spice Wars. It's going to be a 4X game. So we'll have to see how that is. Total War is also kind of 4X. Yeah, Total War is kind of unique. The Total War franchise is relatively unique because it kind of blends like the 4X management on the world map with the RTS elements of the fighting. But that's one of the reasons Total War is so awesome. So yeah, Cohh is 4X. Oh, am I? Okay. I like it. Next, we have the Borderlands D&D game. It's still a thing. We did see some more stuff from the characters. The problem is I don't really follow this, so I'm not really sure what was new and what was actually revealed. We did see like some of the characters, and they seem to be classic Borderlands fashion. It does look like it's going to be more Borderlands, so I think that Borderlands fans will probably like that. So yeah, my hype levels for this game are lukewarm, and that's because I feel like they really tried with Borderlands 3, and for me personally, it kind of fell flat. I definitely Borderlands 3 fell flat for me, and I'm a little concerned that I mean, of course, anytime you have like Borderlands 1 was really special. Borderlands 2 was taking that special thing and making it in some ways more special. Borderlands 3 was an attempt to one up Borderlands 2, and it didn't, in my opinion. So, of course, the trend issue now is now they're trying to take their successful DLC and one up that, just like Borderlands 3 tried to one up 2. So the concern here is that 3 didn't really trump 2, in my opinion. So is the main game of the DLC, are we just going to see the same thing with the DLC? So the Borderlands 3 gameplay was good. Yes. Full disclosure. The gameplay of 3 was a relative evolution. But I feel like that the gameplay, there's different types of Borderlands fans. Some Borderlands fans are just in it for the gameplay, and more power to you, in which case a lot of people like 3 more than 2 and 1, and that's great. But other people like me are in it for the whole package. I play Borderlands games for the whole package. I like a fun story with fun characters and fun gameplay. Like I'm a total package player. So for me, the total package of 3 was not better than 2. It wasn't. So my hope, here's the thing. 3 came out and a lot of people were very vocal about their issues with it. And my hope is that Gearbox is going to listen to them, and they are going to do whatever they need to do to make Wonderlands be awesome. That is the reason that I'm not, that is the reason that I am not hyped. It doesn't sound right at all. I am actually relatively hyped for Wonderlands because Gearbox is a huge company and it's in their interest to listen to players, and players are very vocal about 3. So I'm going into Wonderlands with an open mind, saying I'd love to enjoy this game. But unfortunately, I'm not going in with I'm expecting to enjoy this game. Does that make sense? Cautiously optimistic. That's a good way to say it, Barry. Yeah. Anyway, that's where we are. I hope Wonderlands is awesome. We will, of course, be checking it out. And there's a lot of good talent. There's a lot of good talent in this one, which has me be relatively just a little bit more optimistic. There's a lot of really good talent in Wonderlands. Some big names are joining this project. So hopefully we'll see it all come together and be something awesome. Yeah, would be good. Okay, next up. Among Us VR sounds horrifying, to be honest. I can see it's kind of like a natural progression. I think it could be cool. Among Us in VR, like especially those murder scenes, like turning around and seeing one of those mouths like open up and a thing come at your face, like that actually might be horrifying. It seems a little suspect. I agree, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm very curious to know how they're going to do the death scenes, because like in Among Us, you just kind of run by someone and you like break their head off and their head like disappears. So what are you going to see in VR when that happens? Is it just going to like fade to black, or is it going to like whip your head around as your head fly? Like I'm curious how they're going to implement this. And we'll kind of see how it goes. Are there going to be like the death, you know how there's the different death scenes where it like shows the different animations? Are those going to be like different VR animations? We'll have to see. Anyway, that is Among Us VR. I'm sure it's not going to be as big as Among Us, obviously, because VR is still pretty restrictive. But we'll see. Should be interesting. Steel Rising. We saw a little bit from Steel Rising. This is the From Spiders game. I was one of the, unfortunately, few streamers that played Greedfall, and I enjoyed it. I thought Greedfall was a good example of a good game. Like, it didn't really do anything to make itself like awesome, but at the same time, it was fun. I had fun with it, and it definitely made me excited for future projects from Spiders. From Spiders. Well, here's the next project. This game is basically like a retro, I was going to say retro futuristic, but I guess alternate history futuristic. Like it's basically kind of in the past, but in that alternate history past, there's like automatons. So it's this weird situation where I think you're playing through like you're playing through an older France, but there's like actual robotic automatons, and I think you play one of them. It's a steampunk French Revolution. Yeah, the French Revolution with automatons. It is a wild premise. Like I have to admit, when they were sitting around a table spitballing ideas for the next game, I would have loved to have seen the faces when someone was like, robotic Victorian steampunk revolution battle simulator. It's kind of like it's interesting. It's very interesting. So we're gonna have to see how this works out. It looks cool. I'm there for it. And yeah, it absolutely looks interesting. A very unique setting. So we'll see how it goes. Hellsinger. For those that played BPM, which we did, BPM, fun game. It is basically the first-person shooter where you have like little bars that are coming in the screen in like 4:4 time, and well, not really 4:4, but it's coming in a beat, and you have to do actions on the beat. It's basically like a first-person Necrodancer. You remember that game? Now, BPM was an indie game, and it had like its own music and stuff like that. Metal Hellsinger is I don't know if we go as far as AAA. It is the AA plus version of BPM. It has like real metal singers, and it's bringing in people from like Trivium and things like that. And it is basically a rhythm shooter with well-known metal singers doing their thing. So if you played BPM, I think the gameplay is going to be relatively similar, but it does look to be like a prettier, more name-heavy version of that. So it'll be cool, but we'll see. Is it going to be DMCA if it's original music for the game? That's a great question. I don't know. In a situation like that, it really depends on how hard they're going to push the soundtrack. With a game like this, if you see the soundtrack being sold separately, especially if they put it on like Spotify and stuff to be bought, that's when DMCA really usually becomes an issue. If you can go somewhere and like spend money on a major place to buy it, that's when usually the license holders are going to be a little bit more aggressive. So I'm sorry, you don't buy stuff on Spotify. You know what I mean? I'm an old guy. When you go to the CDs, when you go to the record store and you pick yourself up a record, that's when they really kind of you really kind of do that stuff. Anyway, you know what I mean. So yeah, it really I'm guessing the DMCA issue with this will be how much the developers want to protect the sales of that kind of stuff. So when you do go get your 8-track, you know, it'll be good. Next, Star Trek Resurgence. Ooh. So what I'll say for this is you should probably go and watch this trailer yourself if you're a Star Trek fan. I got to admit, it looked pretty terrible. And I like it looked pretty terrible. The graphics were incredibly subpar. There was like one little action scene that looked as simple as it gets. There was one dialogue decision that looked like it was just a placeholder thing that was used at an investment meeting. I feel like, here's what I'll say. I feel like they didn't put their best foot forward with this one. I feel like they didn't put their best foot forward on this one. It was pretty rough. It was pretty rough. It didn't look terrible. It wasn't a train wreck. It didn't there was like nothing about it that looked like I want to play this. So yeah, it's made by ex-Telltale devs, I think. I don't think it's Telltale. I think it's ex-Telltale devs. So yeah, we'll kind of see what happens. But hey, I like Star Trek. If I thought there was something here to be hyped about, I would let you know. But I definitely didn't leave that one. Definitely didn't leave that one with a super positive attitude, unfortunately. Best ongoing game, Final Fantasy Online. Dude.
Applause, please.
100% deserved. Love it. You love to see it. They deserve it completely. Go FF. Fantastic. I can't wait to get back to our Endwalker playthrough eventually. Yeah, just awesome. I think they also did they get best community support as well? Yeah, it also won best community support, which again, I think is fantastic as well. That was also very well deserved. This Final Fantasy, to see Final Fantasy succeed is so great when you see the kind of thing where you can tell the devs just bleed passion for the project. They're doing the absolute best they can. They're pouring their heart and soul into it. Like, it's great. It's great to see this kind of thing be lifted to the top. So yeah, you love to see it. Rumbleverse. Rumbleverse looks to be the new Fortnite. I'm pretty sure that you can play this today, if I'm not mistaken. It is from what we saw in the trailer, and I have to be careful here because I've played this game and I don't know if I can talk about it yet. What is distinctly shown in the trailer is that it looks to be a melee-oriented Fortnite-style game. And I will leave it at that. So, more about, obviously in a melee situation, more about like positioning and timing than it is twitchy style aiming. Yeah. So some people I think will really enjoy that. Other people I think will probably, just like Fortnite, not be interested. So yeah, it's gonna be different strokes for different folks. But yeah, I'm calling it now. I think it definitely will be like the next big kind of Fortnite-y thing. So we'll see how it goes. Next up was Plague Tale 2. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Plague Tale 2 looking awesome, looking great. Love the first one. Second one's looking awesome. They have a new trailer out. Check it out if you like the first one. It is horrifying, and yeah, looking good, dude. Looking good. Next up, Dying Light 2. Possibly one of the saddest trailers I've ever seen. Ever. It was just like a trailer designed to make you feel terrible. It was just terrible. It was brutal. What do you mean by sad? I mean, it was sad. I mean, you basically see a dude like, I guess you can't really spoil a trailer, can you? So I'm just going to say it. You see this dude turn his back on a couple of other people. They get eaten by zombies. He dives out a window. As he's falling, you see him promise his like young son that he'll be back. In the air, the dude gets like attacked. He then slams into the ground and dies. And as he's dying, after giving up those other two people to get eaten, you see in his dead eye, his toddler son running at him going like, "Papa?" And it's just like, Christ, man. It is legit. Like, I saw it and was just like, oh, like, because I mean, obviously the kid's dead. I mean, the creature that attacked the dude is like right there. So yeah, they went full Sag with it, man. It was very heavy. Cohh is a father, so you know it'll hit him more. No, I mean, seriously, it was yeah, it was tough, dude. It was a powerful trailer. But at the same time, unfortunately, like, I don't really think we saw much at all of gameplay and stuff, and that's the big thing. So, like, yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing more about Dying Light 2. I'm looking forward to playing Dying Light 2 because I'm really hoping it got enough time to cook. I really hope Dying Light 2 is getting enough time to cook because I want Dying Light 2 to succeed. I love Dying Light 1, and obviously it had a very troubled development. So we're gonna. I hope it's good. I hope it's good, and we'll definitely be checking it out when we can. Oop, Crossfire. This is like the Korean. I hope I'm getting that geographically accurate. I believe it's the Korean game. Like, it's a super popular multiplayer game in Korea. Korea. It is Korea. Okay, cool. Yeah. It's basically a super popular game in Korea that they partnered with some other developers to make like a really like first-person centric story experience, and this is what Crossfire X is. It looked like a first-person story experience. Maybe there was a lot of stuff in there to where if you're a Crossfire player, you're like, oh, it's that part, it's that part, it's that part. But I mean, to somebody who has no connection to Crossfire, it was like it looked like a first-person shooty game, shooty bang bang. Yeah. So I don't really know if I'm the target audience for this game. But yeah, I mean, you know, it could be cool. Maybe I don't really know. Like I just don't know. I know so little about it, so I wasn't really too hyped for it. Yeah, but check out the trailer if you're into that stuff. It'd be cool. All right, we're almost done, guys. I think we're coming into the final 10. So you guys are doing great. You guys are doing great. Vampire Blood Hunt. This is the BR. I played this game when it was in beta. I wasn't really impressed. More stuff is coming out. It looks like it could be fun, but when I played it, it didn't really grab me too much. This is one of those games where like it's a vampire thing, so I'd love for it to do well, but it never really grabbed me. And the trailers look kind of cool. They do look kind of cool to their credit. But again, it's a BR. It's a vampire BR. So yeah, it is that. Next up, we have GTFO. Now this is kind of cool. GTFO entered 1.0 last night. GTFO is a super cool cooperative horror game. It is creepy. It is unique in how you play it. It is weird. And last night they announced the 1.0. So if you are a GTFO player, then it's out. You can get the 1.0. So yeah, it's a wild game, and definitely recommend it for horror fans that have friends. Yeah, there's that. Award, Best Game Direction, Deathloop. I mean, that, again, it comes down to like how you define game direction. And this was another one of those categories where I would have loved for some explanation on exactly why this stuff won. Because, you know, when you have such a general term as game direction, then that makes the winner, that makes it even more important to talk about why you won something. So yeah, I don't know. It won because it got more votes. Oh yeah, thank you. So that was, I mean, it was Deathloop. Deathloop's a good game. I mean, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed my time in Deathloop, but again, yeah, so there you go. Next up, we got another Elden Ring trailer, except this one was a cinematic one, and it was pretty crazy. If you're an Elden Ring fan, definitely check out the new trailer. It was pretty wild. It was much more kind of character and story heavy. Looked awesome. I'm still super hyped for this game. That trailer didn't exactly help. And it was delivered by Jeff's pot friend. It was kind of cool. So, yeah, there you go. Pretty cool. Arc Raiders. This game looks interesting. Arc Raiders reminded me of Defiance, where it's a lot of people with guns fighting big invaders. The world looked interesting. Basically, like, for unknown reasons, basically these giant robotic creatures randomly plummet through the atmosphere and attack Earth. And apparently the game is getting together and defeating these giant mechanical creations. So it looked, the gameplay looked kind of cool. This is going to be a relative hot take. The music absolutely ruined it for me. They played like some song by Robin, and it completely killed the mood, 100%. To the point where like it like if they had picked good, it was like the music, like the Earth is being invaded. They're banding together to kill these giant robots, and they were playing like Dancing on My Own or something by Robin. It was so bad. I just don't get it. I'm not saying the song is bad. I'm just saying it wasn't good for that context at all. It was just weird. I guess they were trying to go like some artistic route with it or something, but I don't know, dude. It really killed the whole thing for it. If that's going to be, if the game is going to be scored like that, that may be the kind of thing that I may not be interested in the game, just because it was just completely at odds. Yeah, somebody just said it's completely at odds with what was happening. Am I trolling? No, not at all. I'm not at all. The music was just, it was like some kind of like sci-fi alien invasion, like we're gonna kill these giant, like as giant robots are stomping around, and it was playing like pop music. Just weird. It didn't fit at all. So yeah, I really like in games like that when the whole world kind of connects and feels kind of immersive and cool. That was not it. So yeah, I knew it would be a hot take. Hey, if you like the music, more power to you. Like, especially if you really enjoy the song, I bet you liked it. Like, that's cool. But still, I didn't like it. I thought it detracted from the whole thing, and that it was distracting. Yeah. So, but the game itself looked cool. I'm interested to know more about the loop. I'm interested to know like what the co-op style is. Is it just doing fights, or is there like a world to explore? Like the world seems interesting. Like I like the idea of the world where humanity is just under constant attack and they have no idea why, and they're just trying to survive in this like post-apocalyptic setting. I mean, there's lots of really cool stuff about the game. So we'll be following it and maybe putting on our own music as we play it. Cool. Matrix Awaken, an Unreal Engine 5 experience. Looks really cool. Apparently you can, is this free? I think this is free. This thing looks gorgeous. Like, oh man, it's gorgeous. It is free. Yeah, apparently this is gorgeous. And yeah, I'm pretty sure Keanu was on something. More power to him. He's Keanu Reeves. He does what he wants. But yeah, it looks gorgeous. It's apparently like an Unreal Engine 5 look at like some classic Matrix scenes. Looks super cool. And yeah, we may check it out at some point. I don't know for like when and everything, but it was cool. and I enjoyed it. Looked fun. Looked very cool. Game of the year. It Takes Two. Congratulations to It Takes Two. Haven't played the game. Heard nothing but good things. Congrats to them. I have to admit, I was very pleasantly surprised not to just see Deathloop sweep it, especially after winning 2 other things. I was a little worried they were just going to like sweep through with that, and that was going to be it. So yeah, that was cool. I was happy to see it, and just huge congrats to the devs. It's cool to see kind of a game that's off the beaten path like that clinch the top spot, and yeah, congrats to them, and very cool, very cool. Okay, we have 2 more. First of all, did the Game Awards 2021 live up to the hype? When Geoff Keighley dropped the bombshell, that the Game Awards 2021 would have 4 to 5 trailers that were on par with the Elden Ring reveal, that was taking the bar, putting it in a rocket ship, taking it to the moon, and planting it like a flag on the surface. Because from hearing that, made a list of some of like the biggest things that I could think of that would be there, that would be like mind-blowing for me. Not a single one of those things were there. And not a single one of the reveals or trailers got me a fraction hyped as the Elden Ring thing. Alan Wake 2 was cool. Space Marine 2 was cool. But I mean, Elden Ring is one of the most hyped titles out there. And to then say that you have like 4 or 5, it takes me back to the time when, what was it? Xbox did that conference and they promised there was going to be gameplay there, and then they didn't have gameplay. And everyone was super pissed off at them because they were like, you said that there was going to be gameplay here, and there was no gameplay. And it was this whole like managing expectations thing. I feel like I'm a step closer to speaking Geoff Keighley. Like when I hear this kind of thing again, I will not set my expectations a fraction as high as I did. I went in excited and thinking I was going to get 4 to 5 trailers at the hype level of Elden Ring, and I didn't. I felt like this was way, way overhyped. Way overhyped. Does that mean it was a bad show? No. It was obviously very well produced. There was a great bit of orchestral performance. There were some great performances. Geoff absolutely nailed the show itself. Like for what it was good. There was, of course, the first thing people say is there were too many ads. There were too many ads. But you have to remember, every single penny and dollar that you see on that show comes from those ads. The show is a giant ad. That is what the show is. The show sells itself. So if you go to that show not expecting to see ads, that's on you. like that's the thing. You have to understand that this is how Geoff makes his money. He literally sells he sells ads in the shape of a Game Awards show. That's his product. So just make sure that you understand. You're basically watching a 3-hour ad. That's how that works. So do I think there were a lot of ads? Absolutely there were a lot of ads. But I went in knowing there was going to be a lot of ads. That's what Geoff does. That's how he sells his show. That's how he makes his money. So he can do the Game Awards. Then he does the Game Awards, runs a bunch of ads so he can do, or the Summer Games Fest. Does the Summer Games Fest, runs a bunch of ads so he can do the Game Awards, sells a bunch of ads so he can do the Summer Game Fest. So, I mean, yeah. Grim Teller says, so Geoff is a sellout. No, Geoff is doing his job. This is what Geoff does. This is what Jeff does. Jeff doesn't have people like me that randomly subscribe to him and throw money at his face. He has to work for his money. And that's what he's doing. He is working for his money by showing you advertisements and attracting people to watch them. So then they give him money. So that's basically how it works. So do I think the show, I think the show was exactly what I was expecting from it in a lot of ways. I do really wish that Jeff wouldn't have dropped that line about 4 to 5 things, because I feel like that skewed expectations. I saw that line coming up over and over and over on Twitter. I saw so many people comment that it wasn't nearly as hype as they were expecting. I mean, I understand that it's Jeff's job to hype up the show. But that doesn't necessarily mean you have to just like overtly kind of like mislead about what's going to be there. So that I feel was like definitely a little, that was a little unfortunate. So, you know, that I do feel. Also, you know, this is a personal thing. And I've been really going back and forth on if I was going to say this at all. Because I understand it. But at the same time, I kind of just feel out of a principle and respect issue, this needs to be said. So I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it. Streamers are a part of Jeff's machine. When Jeff puts on a show like this, he, of course, is looking at the viewers and the metrics. And the more viewers and the metrics he gets on this show are going to make him more money. We become a part of his income-making machine. And we do it willingly. To their credit, the Game Awards reached out to many big streamers, myself included. We were invited to co-stream the awards. We were given resources and things to do it. And that was really cool of them. And we appreciate that. Now, obviously, we're not sponsored to do this. So, you know, we're just helping. We're getting the product of being able to watch the game reveals and the awards, and we're giving him the very tangible money product of him getting to profit and make more and do that kind of stuff. Last night, there was like 200-ish thousand people watching the main stream. There was easily 3 to 4 that watching from other streamers. And you know, it's a big kind of thing. So I have to say that it was incredibly disheartening and felt relatively disrespectful to be invited to watch a show on my Twitch channel and then have multiple times have advertisements taking up the show of the show basically asking my audience to go watch another Twitch streamer. I felt like that was cheapening the experience. And I felt like that was kind of disrespectful to what I'm doing and kind of trying to help him do his thing. So last night, 4 to 5 times, basically at random parts in the show, a streamer would pop up and say, "Hey, I'm watching this show right now. You should come watch me on this stream." And it's like, did you invite me to watch your show and then put on your show to go watch someone else? And then what's even crazier is that whole thing was a sponsored thing. So you basically got paid to do that. So you asked me to come on and watch your show for free, and then you literally told my audience directly to go watch somebody who's paying you. That was a little weird. That was a little weird. It felt disrespectful. It'd be one thing, let me be blunt. If I was like sponsored to watch the show, first of all, I don't think I'd be sponsored to watch the Game Awards. That'd be kind of weird. But I'm just saying, it'd be one thing if I was like included in the process or even told that it was going to happen. But to be invited to watch something and then have that occur was weird. And I understand he needs to make his money. I understand that's part of the thing, but still, like, to just directly to invite me on to watch your product and then have your product be to tell my audience to watch someone else is weird. It's weird. It just felt weird. I don't know. it felt weird. It just rubbed me the wrong way. And I kind of hope that doesn't become a thing. I kind of hope that doesn't become a thing. Cohh got a little jelly. It wasn't even jelly, because here's the thing. I have no clue who the streamer was they were promoting. I'd never heard of him. I don't know who he is. And by having Jeff put on my channel through his Game Awards to go watch this guy, it's kind of like, I don't know if maybe I don't know. Like that. It's weird. It's weird. I didn't know. It's a Fortnite streamer. It's apparently a big Fortnite streamer, and he was doing a thing with Verizon. So I'd never heard of the guy before. So yeah, it was just a little strange. And I kind of hope, I kind of hope that we don't go that direction with it. Is the only thing. I just kind of hope we don't go that direction with it. That's all. Not a big deal. And even if they were to have told me it was if they told me it was gonna happen, I still would have watched the Game Awards. It just felt a little weird. So that's all. Was it a deal breaker? No, by no means. It was not. It was just a little strange. So yeah. Anyway, I like I said at the beginning of this, I was debating even mentioning this, because it's not a big deal, but at the same time, like, it is. One of the reasons I actually wanted to say it is because I wanted to tell you guys, I don't know who that guy is. So like, I don't recommend him. I don't know. People even sent me a message. Like, somebody sent me a message afterwards asking if I like, hey, do you know this guy? And I was like, no, I've never watched him in my life. I don't know. I have no idea who he is. This is awkward. But yeah, it was a little strange. Anyway, but again, and for the record, and I want to end it with this. I do not think for a fraction of a second that there was any malcontent or disrespect intended with that promotion. I think it's the kind of thing where, hey, Verizon wants to throw a lot of money at the show. This is what they want to do. Cool. Let's do it. Like, I think it's that kind of thing. Not a big deal. But I did want to kind of like make sure that commentary got out into the ether, just in the off chance maybe this happens at like the Video Game Awards or another thing. At least this little kind of like, maybe some folks speaking up about it will influence that a little bit. So we'll see. Anyway, that's it. TLDR, the Game Awards 2021 was pretty much what I thought. It was a well-produced show. It had a lot of big names. It was mostly for advertising and promotion. And it was okay. That's what the Game Awards was. Did it blow my mind? No. Was it worth the watch? Yeah, I thought it was worth the watch. I think honestly, the best parts about it were probably the stuff that Jeff did, like the chorus and performance and stuff was awesome. There were multiple, a couple of the singers gave me goosebumps. A couple of the music performances gave me goosebumps, and I'm not a normal music guy. The actual announcements and stuff weren't that big. Some of the awards, not like, I really wish they would have explained it more and talked about it. But yeah, I think that as we see more and more of these awards, we can tailor our expectations to what we're going to expect. And as we do that, we can kind of in more and more easy ways prepare ourselves for what we're going to get. Because hey, a big part of these shows is managing expectations and making sure you get what you're expecting. So I know that when I watch the next Jeff Keighley production, this show will help me temper my expectations to where I think they should be. And yeah, maybe we'll enjoy them just that little bit more, kind of knowing what we're going to be getting into. So anyway, that's it. Game Awards 2021. We kept our entire recap at an hour and a half. This was supposed to be like 20 to 30 minutes. I did it again. I'm sorry.
Applause, please.
Don't applause that. I hope you enjoyed the recap, at least. I do really appreciate you guys being here for it. If you are watching this on YouTube, I would love if you would stop by the channel. We're at twitch.tv/CohhCarnage. And
Cohh, get the damn fish!
And I'd love for you to meet my unruly chat room that has no respect for my performances and shows. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I do really appreciate it. We are going to, God damn it. Can I just end this, please? And as always, thank you very much for your time. We'll see you later. I'm going to go play some Halo.